guys, welcome to the channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. Thank you for hopping on and checking out what I am up to. So in today's video, I am taking some of the secondhand finds that I shared in a previous haul video and sharing the process with you all how I get these salvage finds made over and get them ready to resell. Off with this set of boxes. Yes, it was actually a set. We got them for $2 a piece, and when I was power washing them, I realized that they had hinges, that they were actually meant to be together. So Chris actually went ahead and got the hinges back on the other side. So now we have a box that makes a closed box, and then he ended up adding some chains on it to give it something to stop it from flying all the way back. But now we need to weight it down because as soon as you open it up, it just plops right over. There's just nothing substantial to hold back that lid since the top and the bottom are the exact same size. So what he ended up doing was taking a heavy piece of plywood, painting it black, that way it didn't distract from this beautiful wood that got all cleaned up. That is enough weight, and then actually added some little metal ball feet on the bottom of it to rise it up so it's not just sitting on the ground. Gave the feet something to be screwed into, having that big heavy board of the plywood in there, and now it is actually weighted, so even if it's not leaning against the wall, it it doesn't just fall over. But to complete it, he added some handles, that way you have something to grab on and move it around, along with the latch on the front so it can stay closed. But oh my goodness, I absolutely love the wording on this. I love the color of the wood. Just some varathane wax. I'm sorry, this was an afterthought that we were going to video this, so that's why you have some wonkiness with videos. But oh my gosh, is it not beautiful? At this same estate sale auction, we picked up this same little desk side table, and it is absolutely gorgeous. If you can see beyond the dirt, this is the kind of look a lot of people are trying for when they're doing their chippy paint and aging and all that whatnot. I just absolutely think it's gorgeous, especially for the $2 price tag. So really, I'm just going to assess what it needs to be done with it, if there's anything that needs to be tightened. But as far as painting it, nope, I am not going to. So yes, we got a little bit of looseness here and there. It is a old piece. It's absolutely gorgeous. So nothing a little tight bond glue and a clamp can't fix. But first of all, I'm going to start off by seeing how much of the dirt I can get off the top of this and see if what beautiful colors we have underneath. First, I just started off with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water to see what I could get off, but that just didn't seem like it was enough. So I went to my Scrub Daddy and I had the Scrub Daddy paste, and so I think that this will just get a little bit more off. There's some beautiful detail under this that I want to get to, so this shouldn't be so abrasive that it takes the paint off. It just takes the years of dirt off there that just has built up with time. Then after my arm workout of giving this a nice scrub down, legs, spindles, the whole 9 yards, everything got a good scrub down with that Scrub Daddy and rinsed off. So now I'm just going to use some Tite Bond glue. I'm going to get this joint and the spindle glued back into place. So just a little bit of glue, working it into the joint, and then going ahead and clamping it off and letting it sit and do what the glue does and get it glued back together. Now to finish this up, I'm going to seal it in with some Varathane finishing wax. Just wipe on, get a good coating on. You've got some raw wood showing. I really did my best to scrub as much of the dirt off, but I can see more of that beautiful detail. And yes, it's definitely the perfectly imperfect, and if for some reason it never sells in our retail booth, we can always bring it home and sand it down. But why not give it a chance before taking all that beautiful patina and the age off? Oh, I know that these are not the regular ginger chick makeovers that you are used to. These are salvage finds. These are finds that we have picked up at estate sales, really for next to nothing. And so we're trying to finish them to the best of their ability to make them shine. And ladders, oh my gosh, super excited to find these barn ladders, but oh, they are one, very heavy, and two, very, very dirty. Yes, they have been used and abused, and that's exactly what they were made for. But now, in the ginger chick fashion, I'm going to get them cleaned up. What paint was on that other little side table is not the paint that I want on these ladders. So first of all, I'm going to see how much of the barn left behind. I've already power washed these, y'all, outside, trying to get the most of it off, and then seeing what else I can get off because they've sat around the shop for just a wee bit. But I want to be able to probably sand a lot of that paint off there. That's not the chippy distressed. These have been used and abused. They've been farm painted. Anything you needed a ladder for on the farm, this is what was used. So I know you think, oh, hold on, you said you were going to sand it. Oh, I'm going to sand it after I paint it. I still want it to look heavily distressed. So I'm not going to spend the time to sand these twice. So yes, this area is not easy to sand. So I know just spraying them with a generous coat of the Kills Paint Primer using my TrueCoat 360 handheld sprayer, getting these all sprayed up first, I can then go back and distress these pieces. So there was no need to sand them first. And then it wasn't an easy thing to paint, and it wasn't an easy thing to film for you all. They're definitely, Chris has not cut them down at this point yet, so I am just working on them as the length that they are. So yes, got both sides painted, tried to get as much of the underneath as I can. Now I'm going in with a 80 grit sandpaper. You would think, oh, 220 would be enough, but there is a lot of unevenness, and I want to make sure that these are nice and smooth. So if you are hanging blankets off them, hanging your decor, I don't want anybody getting any splinters or anything like that. So I'm just going to sand away until it is nice and smooth. There was actually a couple of the ladders that weren't so heavily painted, so all I'm going to do with those is go ahead and get those sanded nice and smooth. As you see, it just has a couple pieces of paint here and there. They weren't necessarily used so much as yeah, on the farm they were probably just for the hay loft, maybe, I don't know, but this one was super sweet because it was short. But I believe this one actually was the top of what Chris cut off to fit it in our van when we were at the estate sale. But hey, sometimes you like a short one too. So after I got the unpainted ones all sanded nice and smooth, I'm going in with some varathane wax and getting this all sealed. And this is going to be a protective coat. This wood is really dry. That way I can make sure that everything's nice and smooth. In case there's anything that is still splintering off that I missed when I was sanding it, I can go ahead and find it. And I don't know if you all know that I cannot buy varathane wax anywhere. And so far, I've had 3 different viewers send me cans, so that's how I can keep on using this. I totally appreciate all of you for thanking me. Yes, we are not in a big enough city. It is not available at our store, and they do not ship to us. Now I have this one actually that I want to paint, but I can't fit it in our spray room until Chris cuts it down. So I did take, it had green paint was the initial paint color, and then it had lots of other stuff. But yes, so I sanded it down. because it just needed that green paint to come off. I don't think green paint is a trendy color right now. So yes, I needed Chris to cut down the metal parts that were on here. So I knew that we weren't gonna, it has some metal parts that you really can't take off. So a normal ladder that we usually make when it's cost efficient is a 6-foot ladder. So that's the length that he's cutting it down to. And then he's also giving the bottoms a bevel, a 15-degree, just enough to rest onto the floor and onto the wall. That way it's not topsy-turvy and it just stays in place. And filming these, when you can't get a whole ladder in a frame is not easy, but I hope that you get the general of what we did with these ladders. I cannot believe that I ran across another extremely large tool caddy. I cannot believe it. They did dig all the tools out of it because I'm like, no, I didn't want the tools. I just want the caddy. And it wasn't any tools that Chris would have wanted. And actually, when I was picking it in the dark, I just knew that I wanted it. Literally, it was the dark. I had to use my light on my phone to be able to see it. But I'm like, oh, I think that's a big tool caddy. So I've already power washed it. I'm just double checking that I've got everything off. It's good to have a touch and feel kind of thing, because the power washer does, you know, you can't really get close up because it just sprays all over you. So yes, I'm just making sure that this is good and cleaned. I love these. I love that they're homemade. This one is just so large. So now it has a metallic spray on it. I know when Chris did this green toolbox not too long ago, I had so many people comment that I can't believe you painted over that patina. Okay, it was a green, glossy, like a rubber boot type of green. So I'm trying to show you that this is a shiny metallic glittery paint. So probably back in the day when a gentleman was protecting his toolbox, he just used whatever was there. So yeah, anyway, so yes, even though it does look gray, it does have age, it does have a lot going on, nope, I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up. And I didn't even notice that embossing until I started spraying on it. But yes, I like to give that new coating of the Kills paint and primer. Now after getting this all sanded back down to distressing so it has more of a clean distressed look, I'm just going to put a little bit of wording on both sides. So I chose general store, trading, and what I'm going to do is I type that out and size it to the appropriate what I want it to be on each side, duplicate it so I don't have to type it out all again, so I have matching sides. So yes, I'm just going to use my Cricut and the vinyl to make a stencil to be able to paint on some wording on the sides. Now I did notice when I was taking care of my transfer tape, when I was removing it to leave my stencil behind, that it did pull off some of the paint, so that metallic paint underneath wasn't attaching, but I'm not going to worry because I want this to be really distressed anyway. Yes, that Perfectly Imperfect, it's an old toolbox. I don't mind some of that showing underneath. I'll seal it in. But yes, at first I'm like, well, maybe it'll just, some more of it will come off with tape, where it was just as the strong transfer tape. That was a new piece, so that was very strong. So nope, it didn't just come off with tape, so I think I can just go ahead and before even sanding my lettering down, I'm going to go ahead and polyacrylic this all in and make sure that it's good and on there and let it dry overnight before sanding it again. I have one more makeover in this video, and it's this bench. I think maybe it was a piano bench, but it's a little bit longer than a normal piano bench that I've ever ran across. But it is a little bit worse for wear. It needs to be tightened up. Some of the veneer board is coming off the top. I actually picked this up for $8, I think, at a Goodwill. So not one of the estate sale finds, but definitely a salvage find because it's a piano bench, we're going to say. But then it has been painted. So I definitely want to see. It is an older piece. It has square nails. Actually, it has screws that actually tighten the legs up. It's kind of uniquely made, but like all square nails, flathead nails, you have to figure out which screwdriver will fit to take them out. So yes, the hinges are hinged in with flatheads. So this is always the fun of, okay, which screwdriver do I use to remove the hinges? So now we made the decision not to change out the board. It's a thin piece of board. We don't really have any replacement, and then just stick another piece on top of it. The weight of it probably, yeah, you're just making your space too thin. I know that there's a hole on the bottom of this. It's still just going to be there. It's just going to be that perfectly imperfect. But somebody had taken screws, folded them over to keep the board from moving. So I'm going to remove those screws for safety reasons and then brad nail this in to make sure that that bottom is more secure. So this is a very shiny, glossy piece. It's actually veneer board, so I can't go crazy when I'm sanding it. I really just need to scuff sand it so that the paint has something to grab onto. As you see, as I'm putting on my top coat of polyacrylic to seal this black paint in, yep, I taped off the inside. I think that is a beautiful patina on the inside of somebody's, probably one of those staining, combing kind of techniques. So now we're going to actually make a new top for this. Not going to deal with that veneer. It was kind of warped too on the top. So actually Chris had cut this piece of wood down for another top for another bench on another video that either you've seen or you haven't seen. But yes, this beautiful wood is just going to make a nice finished top. This piece of wood is really raw. It needed a lot of sanding to get down to that smooth feel that we like. So both sides and the edges all getting sand down. So between two different sanders, Chris got it nice and smooth. Then I'm just going to go ahead and get it sealed in with some Varathane finishing wax. I love the way that this feels, especially on a natural wood. Nope, not any stain. I love the coloring. The wax will color it just a little bit, but not enough to make that much of a difference. I think this wood is gorgeous. I love the nail holes in it. It was actually a tongue and groove Oh my gosh, can you imagine this as flooring? How wide of a planks this would have been? I'm not even sure where we were blessed to get this piece of wood, but yes, I will do both sides, and I'll let one of the coats of the the Varathane wax dry, and then I'll put another coat on, so I want this really to be protective. And then other than just cleaning up the hinges, I didn't see any reason to paint them. I didn't want to paint them black to make them stick out. They're just a nice aged brass that goes perfectly with the inside and of this wood. You don't really even see much of it from the outside. So thank you so much for watching today's content. What did you think? I just absolutely love going out looking for these salvage finds, seeing potential and life still left in them. Yeah, sometimes they are a little bit on the dirty side, or but there's still good bones underneath. So give me a quick comment down below. Have I inspired you in any way to look at secondhand finds in a new way? Thanks for watching today's video, guys. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. But if you are new and you're checking out this content for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit the subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we upload a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.